Hello, sweet crew, and welcome to a new episode of
Bake It.
Last week was Shrek's birthday and this week's mine, so I decided to bake us an
Epic
6-layer vanilla cake wrapped in a beautifully smooth vanilla American buttercream. Get your apron out and let's start. For the ingredients you'll need: cake flour, sugar, milk, vegetable oil, unsalted butter at room temperature, sour cream at room temperature, eggs at room temperature, pure vanilla extract, baking powder, salt. Preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. To grease your pan, you can either go with room temperature butter or cooking spray. Cover the pans with the oil of your choice, then add about 1 tablespoon of flour in each pan. While you rotate the pan, tap it to cover all of the grease sections. Set the pans aside for later. In a medium bowl, sift together the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Set aside. In a large bowl, combine the butter and the sugar. Whisk both ingredients until light and fluffy. Scrape the sides of the bowl clean, then add 1 egg at a time and whisk to incorporate them. Once the eggs are in, you can go ahead and add the vegetable oil to whisk it in the wet ingredients mix. Add the sour cream and the vanilla and whisk once more. Don't forget to clean the sides of your bowl. Incorporate half of the dry ingredients and half of the milk and whisk until most of the ingredients are combined. Add the remaining dry ingredients and milk and whisk once more. Make sure not to overmix. To make sure all the ingredients are combined and you're not left with a chunk of flour at the bottom of your bowl, use your spatula to fold the batter over itself. This step is optional, but I've decided to go ahead and dye my batter blue. Let me also go ahead and say that I doubled my cake and buttercream recipes to make my 6-layer cake. Pour the batter in the cake pans and bake for 22 to 25 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean.
It's buttercream time.
For the ingredients you'll need: powdered sugar, unsalted butter at room temperature, whipping cream, pure vanilla extract, optional is food coloring. In a large bowl, add the butter. 1 cup at a time, and this is important unless you want a beautifully white and sweet kitchen. Add the powdered sugar. At a low setting, start your stand mixer or hand mixer. Once most of the powdered sugar has incorporated to the butter, you can raise this setting. Add another cup of powdered sugar and whisk. Repeat these steps until you're out of powdered sugar. If you want a pure white vanilla buttercream, I recommend you switch up a few things. First, either go with Crisco type grease instead of butter, but then you'll have to call the final product frosting because buttercream is
Creamed butter.
Or you can purchase white butter in a specialty cake store. For the vanilla, just go ahead and use clear vanilla extract. Switching these up will guarantee a white final product. This process can take between 5 to 15 minutes depending on what you use to whisk. Patience is a virtue. Breathe in and out, for all of the positivity in this cake and let the negative fly away like small pieces of butter flying out of the bowl because my speed is set on too high. Once you've reached a smooth consistency, it's now time to add the rest of the ingredients. Add half of the whipping cream and vanilla. Make sure it's well incorporated and then add the remaining ingredients. Optional, I dyed my buttercream black.
Like my soul. Joke.
But if you do decide to go black, let me tell you now that what goes in must go out.
So, yeah. It's now cake montage time!
Add about 1 teaspoon of buttercream on the cake pad to keep your cake from slipping off. Add your first cake layer. Brush the cake with simple syrup or a milk sugar mix. Spread some buttercream and create an even layer to produce a leveled cake. Once it's straight enough for you, add the second cake layer, brush it again with simple syrup, spread some buttercream, and level once more. Repeat these steps until you have 1 cake layer left to place. FYI, I removed the brownish edges and trimmed my layers. This gives me equal cake layers all around. When you're at the last cake layer, my favorite trick that I found out with practice is to flip it over so that the bottom becomes the top of your cake. This gives the straightest cake top and will help during the buttercream session. It's now time to crumb coat this bad boy. Spread buttercream all over your cake and create an even-ish layer all around. The crumb coat is a thin buttercream layer, so you can use between 1/4 to 1/3 of what you have left in your buttercream bowl. The goal here isn't to create something perfect, but to keep the crumbs where they are so that your final buttercream layer is as smooth and as pretty as can be. Once the crumb coat is done, pop it in the fridge so that the buttercream can set and solidify. You can now slather the cake in the final buttercream coating. Don't be precise just yet. Once you've covered most of your cake, now's the time to get your spatula out and get the spots you forgot. Try to make it as even and as straight as you can. Bend down, measure with your thumb, stick your tongue out to help with concentration, listen to meditation music, or hardcore punk if that's your style. Be Michelangelo to your cake. Once that step is done, you'll want to use a larger spatula or an icing smoother to, well, smooth out the buttercream. Another trick for you. I always have a bowl of hot water next to me where I dip my spatulas and smoother. Heating up the blade really makes a difference when manipulating your buttercream. Add some buttercream where the smoother didn't reach. This means that the section wasn't even. Repeat these steps until you're satisfied with the final product. Smooth out the top of the cake and create straight edges for a beautiful finish. Another optional step, spread some white and blue buttercream on the black buttercream and smooth it out once more to create a paint effect. The final steps are decorations, where you let your imagination take over. hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, click that like button, subscribe to my channel, and click that little bell on the side to be the first one notified when a new video is out, and comment what you'd like to see next.
Have a wonderfully sweet week.